Hey guys, Officer Ashley Smith here from New York, and I'm going to be coming to Muscle Sport TV.
And welcome to NFL Coast to Coast. I am your co-host, Joe Pietaro, of course, being joined every week by my co-host. A lot of co's going on. Coast to Coast, co-host. Fuck this. Let me get the show started. Dave Goyes, Comerica Muscle in L.A., me in New York.
What up?
What's up? Hey, Jupes. What's up, MSM fam in the house? Of course, every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 noon Pacific, on the Instagram live feed at Muscle Sport Mag, and we are also taping this on the YouTube camera for the archive on the Muscle Sport Television YouTube channel. Dave, we are at the last of our preview shows, AFC South and West today, because tomorrow night is kickoff.
Thank God.
And
time for some football.
Jupiter was saying they're about to get pounded by a hurricane. Yes, because we're going to be doing our picks in a little bit, but there was one less game on the schedule because of the hurricane Irma, and that was supposed to be at Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay, which will be played in Week 11. They both have, oddly enough, completely different conferences, divisions. They both have the same bye week. Be safe, Jupiter, Stellar says. Yes, definitely. I wanted to get nailed, but not this way. That's Jupiter. You were when you were writing, I'm about to get pounded. I actually was thinking that, but I digress, David. Let's get back into football because we have to do the preview quicker, so we can get to the picks because we're going to do a running total for all 17 weeks, and whoever comes out on top is the winner. Okay. I don't know what we're going to win. Maybe a bubble gum. Maybe a pack of bubble gum.
How about a Muscle Mag shirt? Oh wait, I get that. Forget that idea.
Yeah. How about, I don't know, we'll get the Burger King birthday crown. We'll wear that on the first episode next season. Well, first episode of the postseason. But
we could make it worse. I mean, you do have those pink MSM thongs. The loser could have to do a workout video in those thongs and let's say squat.
Yes. And that would be a fucking brutal
That's ballsy.
Look.
You can't do that.
No,
I can't.
No.
My wife would fucking shoot me.
I can't go that fucking, I can't go shooting for the fucking other team in the other team's net. But let's get right into the south of the AFC. And as always, we go with the way the records finished last year. And first place last year was the Houston Texans, Dave, at 9-7. This was a weak division in the
very
AFC and NFL. Tom Savage beat out Deshaun Watson for the quarterback job, but I think the worst kept secret in football is that probably by week 5, Watson will be in there. So he actually, they both didn't have great preseasons, but Savage last year played in 3 games, 461 yards and zeros for both TDs and picks. So Tom Savage, not a lot of wow factor as the starting quarterback of the Texans. What do you think about that quarterback situation in Houston?
Yeah, you already nailed that one. Watson's going to end up having his job by week 5. Tom Savage is just there right now. He's filling the role. I see Watson. He's definitely going to be taking over that spot.
Yeah.
As far as Houston goes, we got Lamar Miller as running back and Deontay Foreman, the rookie, which is built like LeGarrette Blount and Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
So he's a good addition to it, but Lamar Miller is going to end up taking most of them carries.
Yeah, Foreman had a really great, I know it's hard to say a great preseason, but he had a solid preseason. He was a 3rd-round pick. Coming in as a rookie, you could really make a difference, especially those mid-round guys between being, kind of 3rd stringers, 2nd stringers, special teams guys to getting a lot of touches with the first team. And Foreman proved himself there. Lamar Miller is coming back. Last year, I had over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns in 14 games played. So he's the type of guy that, that's a good thing to have 2 good running backs because they're not great in the quarterback position, like we just said. DeAndre Hopkins, 78 catches, almost 1,000 yards, 12.2 average, only 4 touchdowns. A little surprising. When I saw that stat when I was doing my homework for this show, I thought it was going to be a lot more than that, Hopkins. Very talented receiver, and he's got wheels, so
Exactly. Well, he was a huge proponent for Savage being the lead QB too, and he just got signed for another $81 million contract. So he's going to be getting a lot of hits from Savage's way. So he'll be targeted a lot.
Yeah, yeah. They have some weapons on offense, but Houston is known for their defense, and they have three all-world type of defenders. J.J. Watt, who only played 3 games last year with the injury.
Yep.
Jadeveon Clowney, who I really thought was going to end up being not a bust, but one of those guys kind of like Steve Entman was, where the injuries, he was first overall pick as a defender, but injuries hampered his development and pretty much put him out of the game. Clowney kind of got that first pick over that one hit as a junior against Michigan, I believe it was, when he came through and knocked the guy's helmet off in the backfield. One of the greatest hits I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I remember that.
It hurts watching it. I mean, it's a great hit. But Clowney actually came back and had a nice year last year after a couple of years of being injured. He played in 14 games, 6.5 sacks, 52 tackles. But one of my favorite players in the NFL is Brian Cushing, linebacker. 13 games. He had 0 sacks, but 65 tackles. So this guy is more of a read and react, goes for the run, and covers the tight end. He doesn't really shoot the gaps and go around the edge. They kind of leave that to the they play a 3-4, so he doesn't really play edge. He plays inside, so he's going to get more of those gang tackle type of things with their defense. What do you think about Houston's D, Davey?
With Watts back on, they're a force to reckon with. Yeah. That is for sure. I think J.J. Watts is the heart of that defense without a doubt.
Yeah. And great job by him with the Hurricane money. He had a big drive for that. But, I like Watt a lot. He's a fun guy to watch. He's intense. He's their poster boy. And they still won the division without a good quarterback last year. I know it's a weak division. 9 wins is 9 wins, no matter how you shake it. But when you have Watt for only 3 games, huge, minus. So having him back, he may not be 100%. It takes some time to get back into the swing of things and take some hits. But Watt back is good. Cornerback Jonathan Joseph, this is a guy, really high marks coming out of Cincinnati. He hasn't really done those. Maybe it was one of those payday things with this guy, with the Texans. So they're better, more front seven than they are in their secondary. Hey, what's up there, king of the gym, Matt Howard? You doing okay down there, Jupiter? Yes, everybody's worried about Jupiter. Jupiter, don't get hurt. We need to hang out at the Olympia and have beers together. But I like Houston. I think more of the same with them. I think that Watson's got a nice possible future with him. He could be a great quarterback. We don't know, but he definitely is going to have more gaudy stats than a Savage. Yeah. And also, their mistake was signing Osweiler to that big deal, but they were able to trade him, but they had to give up a second-round pick for Cleveland to eat that contract. And we'll get into Osweiler when we talk about the West. So basically, Houston Texans, I don't know if they're a playoff team, Dave. I think they have the potential to be a playoff team. There's only going to be one team that comes out of this division going to the postseason. There will not be a wild card team out of this division. So, to me, it's going to come down to them and the next team. We're going to talk about the Titans.
Yep.
I say right now Houston misses the playoffs.
I agree. I think so, too. It's just that quarterback situation. Yeah. Though they do have a good tight end that just re-signed and everything like that, I'm not feeling confident with that quarterback situation right now.
No, and I think that's going to be the linchpin, which is going to hurt them at the end of the day. Speaking of quarterbacks, last year on a tiebreaker, they lose the division 9-7. Also, Tennessee. Marcus Mariota is really coming into his own. This guy seems to be the real deal. He had on Christmas Eve last year, a bad day because we had a few big names injured. We'll come up with another one in a little bit. But Mariota fractured his right fibula last year. But he comes back this year. Expect a lot. And now, he didn't play the whole year, obviously. I think he missed only 1 game, I believe, if I remember the schedule correctly. They had week 17 was the week of New Year's. Almost 3,500 yards, but this comes jumping off the page, Dave. 26 touchdowns and only 9 picks. That is big league.
95.6 rating. He's accurate.
That's a big league quarterback. Very young. So I say Mariota takes another step up, and that's why I think Tennessee is going to beat out the Texans for the division. They have a lot of weapons on offense, this team. What about the Patriots? We spoke about them last week, Matt. They are my pick to win the Super Bowl. Can we talk about the Eagles? We did that like 3 weeks ago, I think. I have a new quick Super Bowl pick. Seattle loses to New England in the Super Bowl, and I picked Seattle because they have a great defense, and they picked up Sheldon Richardson from the New York Jets, which was a great deal for both teams. Because when Richardson wants to play and he's not smoking pot, he's an effective, great interior lineman that can play the run and the pass, and he can tip balls too really well. He's a big dude with a long reach.
I could see that what-if scenario. Seattle's a tough team.
Seattle's going to be right there with Green Bay. We said that when we did the NFC, but I think Sheldon puts them over the top over Green Bay. But let's get back to Tennessee Titans. They pick up Eric Decker from the Jets. Now, he was out for a while last year. He missed most of the season with a fucking knee injury. But I think he's going to do well, and he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him there. They have a first-round pick, Corey Davis, and a third-round pick, Tawan Taylor. Yep. And Rashad Matthews he had what did he have last year?
65 receptions, 945 yards, and 9 TDs.
Averaging almost 15 a catch, 14 and a half. So they are loaded at wideout. Now, this is a guy that you kind of forgot about, DeMarco Murray, because he went to the Eagles from Dallas, where he was very effective. But last year, very quietly, finishes with 1,200 yards and 9 scores with a 4.4 average carry. Great numbers for DeMarco Murray. So I like the way they're loaded on offense, Tennessee. What do you feel about them as far as a scoring punch?
I love Murray. I mean, he had 293 attempts as a running back. That's wonderful. He's got Derrick Henry, and he's another one. He's a stud. 400 touches last year in Alabama alone. Think about that. That's high volume right there.
Yes.
And then you can't forget Delaney Walker too. For a tight end, he's utilized a lot. So as far as weapons go in the Titans category, I'm really liking Titans actually to own this division right there.
Yeah, I think they're going to win. I think they're a 10 or an 11 win team, and I don't think Houston can do that. That's why I picked Tennessee right now. On the other side of the ball, not a great pass rush, but Brian Orakpo. Now, this guy kind of fizzled out with the Redskins after he was a big prospect being drafted. But he had nice numbers last year, Orakpo. He had 10.5 sacks. I mean, when you got double digits with sacks, I mean, that very effective. Excellent. And Derek Morgan's a good pass rusher as well. So he had 9 sacks. So those guys, almost 20 sacks between those two guys. So obviously they're going to get the numbers. The other guy's more the lunch pail type. But Tennessee, better on offense than defense, but I think enough scoring that they'll overcome a little bit weakness on defense. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, that's totally, absolutely agree. They have a lot of similarities with Oakland that I will touch upon when we get to Oakland.
Yeah, definitely. Tennessee, besides at the receiver category, a little thin all around on depth. So health could be a concern with a team like that doesn't really have a lot of guys behind. Good starters.
If one of these starters go out, then they're going to start shaking at the knees a little.
Yeah. But football's a type of sport. Guys got to step up week to week. Guys can get nicked up, get hurt, can miss a couple of games with pulls and stuff like that. So Tennessee, if everything breaks well, I say 11 wins. If everything goes 9 to 10, but still good enough for the division, in my opinion.
Me too.
Ready to go to Colts next?
Let's do it.
Colts 8-8, very blah, very men's a men's, as we say in Italian. Andrew Luck out week 1, did not do out the whole camp, whole preseason, didn't do any, work. Scott Tolzien, will start in week 1. They picked up Jacoby Brissett, the New England Patriots' third-round pick. Not enough time for him to learn the playbook, even if they wanted him. So Tolzien starts in week 1. The problem with Luck is he gets tattooed back there. He got sacked 41 times last year before he got hurt. 156 times in his last 5 seasons. Had he was fucking banged up last year, but he had over 4,200 yards, 31 and 13 touchdown to interception ratio. No luck. Colts are fucked, Mikey Crazy Hawk says. I don't know if it's even, obviously without luck, they're not going to do anything. But Luck is a hardy guy. I mean, if he's can throw the ball even, is because of shoulder surgery. If he can throw the ball, he's going to go in there. But how much is he going to be able to sustain if he keeps getting hit like that, Dave?
And then on top of that, they're going to end up relying on Frank Gore a lot more. And thank God he's a high-volume running back. But he's getting older. Those wheels are going to start rusting off any time. You got Luck hurt. You pretty much say T.Y. Hilton, Dante McGrath, they're like and Jack Doyle. They're all fucking ghosts.
Yeah.
None going to have huge games without Luck.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Gore had over 1,000 yards last year, but he is 34 years of age. Hey, Joe, are you not going to believe how many hate comments and insults I got only because I made comments regarding Cali muscle comments on fat people? Oh, listen, hate comments? me and you, Dave, we know them well, Big Muscles Mike, so I feel your pain, my friend. Fuck people. Let the
Welcome to social media, Mike.
Yeah, social media is a bunch of fucking. It's like The View without fucking names and faces, just a bunch of fucking caricatures. Frank Gore over 1,000 yards last year, but I don't know. He's 34. They have the ageless Adam Vinatieri at 44 years of age can still put the ball through the uprights, especially in the dome. So there's gonna be a lot of settling for threes, I think, for the Colts this year, especially if Andrew Luck misses chunks of time. Other than that, their starting defense got fucking blown up in the preseason. You can say it's preseason.
I'm going to stick with it's preseason.
It's preseason. I don't know. I think the Colts have had a nice run with Luck. I think this is going to be one of those years that Luck, they're not going to rush him back. If he does come back, he's one hit away from being out for the year. If he gets hit on that same shoulder, I think it's going to be a long year in Indianapolis.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I wouldn't worry so much if he had some rep time, some practice time with that shoulder surgery, but he hasn't even touched the field. So you're just going to come back and be like, oh, here, your starter.
Yeah.
God, yeah, man, that's a lot of rust.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Even Tom Brady starts the fourth preseason game. I mean, you need practice reps against other than your other, your team, inter-squad type of games. I think the Colts, I think 6-10. I think he's going to be out. I think they're not going to go crazy rushing him back. They know they're not going to have a good year if he's hurt. I think it's going to be a bad year for Colts fans. And I like the Colts. They're a fun team. That when they win, it's a good team. I love Andrew Luck. He's a very, jovial type of guy. He's a great poster boy for the league. I just think he's hurt more than they're letting on. They're like, oh, he's going to miss week one. I think he's going to miss more than week one.
They're playing it safe.
Yeah, playing it real safe. Cali Muscle said in the picture, if you don't have veins, you're fat. So I commented back and said, you mean people that use steroids have veins? Okay. It's true.
That was football related, Mike. Keep it up.
Yeah. We like Big Muscles, Mike. He left for a while, but he's back again, and I like seeing people come back. That means they like the programs. So I don't know. I have really not much to say on the Colts. I think 6-7 wins over here. They're going to be worse than last year, and they won 8. So it's, just saying they drop 1 or 2 more games is not really going crazy. Next up,
Jacksonville.
The 3-13 Jacksonville Jaguars. I was really excited. They brought Coughlin back. I like Coughlin from his time in New York with the Giants, obviously. Very well-respected guy around football. It's going to take a while. Now, they haven't made the playoffs since 2007. So fans have to be patient down there, and they've been patient. Blake Bortles, to me, all right, they didn't know what they were going to do with starting quarterback. Bortles basically looked like he was done in Game 3 of the preseason. Chad Henne got the start. Bortles came in and outplayed him, and they named Bortles the starter. Last year, 3,900 yards. Looks good, but then when you look at it, he only had 16 touchdowns and 23 interceptions.
Yes.
That's bad.
And his rating is 78.8. So he's a high-volume, low-efficiency type of quarterback. But this year, they got an improved defense, so I think that's going to end up limiting their upside.
Yeah. I think that's the type of team they have to rely on their defense.
Absolutely.
Major Tom Coughlin. He's a kind of that. He's from the Parcells tree. He likes the defense and the run control game. They picked Leonard Fournette, running back, at 4 in the first round, but then he hurt his foot and he's been out a lot during the summer. So that's a big minus. When you bring a guy in like that, especially when you have questions at quarterback, you have a top 5 running back pick. You want this guy to be a workhorse from day one. So that's tough because he's hurt. Wide receiver Marquise Lee and Allen Robinson, they both had pretty decent numbers last year. Lee, only in 6 starts, had almost 900 yards and 3 scores. And Robinson started every game. He had 16 touchdowns. So that's pretty good numbers out of their receivers. And Bortles or whoever ends up, they got to stick with Bortles. Chad Henne's fucking terrible, and he's older now. But I like the thing I noticed with them. They have 2 former Jets in their backfield. Chris Ivory, who I loved with the Saints and really loved him with the Jets. Now, he didn't have a great year last year. He's always banged up. Yeah. And fullback Tommy Bohannon. I kind of have. You're like, who? 2 years ago, the Jets had Bohannon. Well, they had him for a few years, right? As a fullback. And he had a lot of touches, mostly a blocking back kind of thing. I always went over and spoke to this guy. He was jacked. He was in good shape. I gave him a copy of Muscle Sport Mag, and we kind of hit it off, and we were friendly. Then the Jets got rid of him. He didn't play last year. Jacksonville signed him. He made the team this year. So I'm rooting huge for Tommy Bohannon, fullback, to stick with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I will keep my eye on him every week in the box scores. But like you said, defensively, they have to rely on them. They have a strong secondary, right? I do like their secondary. Jalen Ramsey, last year, he's a second-year player this year. He was a rookie last year. But they brought in A.J. Boyce also. So they got good cornerbacks there. As far as defensively goes, Jacksonville, what are your thoughts, Davey?
They've definitely improved their defense, which is going to be tremendous for the whole team. I still see them at the bottom of the division, though.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I do as well. Rebuilding, again, more rebuilding. Matt Howard wants to bring more rugby players. Wasn't there a rugby player on the Vikings last year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still with them now.
How did he do?
I think he was more of a special teamer kind of thing, but he made the team, and they did show some. He was laying some guys out on as a gunner and shit like that. So I agree. Mike says rugby players need to get few in the NFL. I'd like to do a follow up on that Minnesota guy for next week. I'll look him up. But yeah, Jacksonville, more of the same. I think they'll win more than 3, but 5 to 6. They may slip out of the basement if Indy loses 10 also.
What do you have for the AFC South, your picks?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My picks is going to be Tennessee, Houston. I will go Indy, Jacksonville.
Man, you nailed mine. That's mine right there on the corner to the T.
All right. Let's go over to your favorite division.
Yes, the tough division.
Yes, the Wild Wild West. They don't call it the Wild West for nothing. Great rivalries. This division is known for its tight rivalries that go back to the American Football League in the 1960s. I love AFC West matchups. Anytime they're on TV, I'm not a Raider fan, you know that.
Yeah.
But if the Raiders are playing the Broncos,
what?
I don't dislike the Raiders. I respect them. They're a fun team to watch. I love watching them.
I know you love the fan base.
I'm jealous of the fan base. I think they're great. The black hole is a tough place to play. So when you're in that end zone, holy shit, you can't. It's all hand signals there because you can't hear.
Yeah.
I say the Patriots take it all and I'll put money on it. I'll put more money on it, man. Last year, the Raiders lost the tiebreaker to the Chiefs, and this really hurt the Raiders going into the playoffs, especially after the whole thing with Carr. We'll get to that in a moment. But Kansas City won the division last year. They both were 12-4. I think the Chiefs take a step back this year, and I think it's because the fragile psyche of Alex Smith. The minute they drafted Pat Mahomes, everybody started talking and saying, how long, we got the Alex Smith, Pat Mahomes watches on.
Mm-hmm.
Smith had a tough start in San Fran, and as soon as he started doing good, he was the wonder boy, and then he got hurt, and Kaepernick came in, and Smith was shipped off to KC the next year.
I felt horrible for Alex Smith that year, man.
Yeah, but you know what? It was the right move at the time for the Niners. Well, you can't go second-guess the move. Everybody loved it, and it was proved to be right at the time. And Smith's done fine in KC. I mean, Andy Reid's a really good coach. But I think bringing him in Mahomes, I think that's going to have a negative effect on Smith and potentially the locker room with division. If Smith has a slow start, you'll have some players hoping to put the hot shot rookie in and some guys saying, no, stick with what's the proven veteran.
So you think the drama is going to get to him? I
think eventually it will. Maybe not right away. The guy's been in the league 13 years, but you got to remember, he didn't play all those years.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. He was the lost soul in San Fran for a long time, and only Harbaugh brought him back to being. He never was worth the first pick overall, but at least he was way more than pedestrian in his numbers. Yeah. He had 3,500 yards last year, only 15 touchdowns and 8 picks. So they don't rely on Smith. He's not a gunslinger. They don't say.
No, he's very, very conservative. He's a check down specialist.
Yes, definitely a check down specialist. But I think that will hurt him in the long run, I think, because people want it's a quarterback league. And if you're not a hot shot quarterback and you're not throwing rainbows and you're not scoring 30-something points a game, they're always looking to replace you. So I think that's going to end up haunting a guy like Alex Smith. I don't know if Mahomes is the answer. I saw him in the preseason. He didn't look that good in the last game I saw him playing. But Tyreek Hill, he's going to have a much bigger role with Macklin gone. Now, Macklin only had 44 catches last year. But
still.
Exactly. But only in one start last year. Now, you got to remember that. Tyreek Hill had over 500 yards and 6 scores. So this guy from day one is going to be a target for whoever's playing quarterback for the Chiefs. And, of course, Kelsey at tight end, over 1,000 yards as a tight end. You don't see that.
That's why Kelsey benefits with Alex Smith, because he's a check down specialist.
Throws it to him, yes. 13.2 yards average a catch for Kelsey. As a tight end, that's great.
Yeah.
Usually they're in the 9 ratio. He's moving the chains every catch, this guy.
One of the only other teams that utilize their tight ends as much right there as Kansas City is Philly.
Yeah.
That's Philly's thing, is their tight ends.
Stella's favorite team.
I'm not too keen on their running back situation either for some reason. Having their lead back being a rookie, that's a lot of pressure. Let's see how he does. So as you said earlier, the rookies are gonna have to step up. So that's what's cool about that one. We'll see how he is. Yeah. Spencer Ware out for the season and automatically made Hunt the lead back.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt, 3rd round pick, did very well in the preseason, but again, preseason is preseason. The thing with them is they don't have a great offense. Defensively, they have some names there, but they were ranked 26th against the run last year. Benny Logan takes over for Dontari Poe at nose tackle. That might be a difference, because last year with the Eagles, he had 24 tackles, 2.5 sacks. But he's a nose tackle, so, their numbers aren't always – they're double teamed. They're center and guard, everybody, So those guys, you can't go by numbers. You have to go by, did he force them to the strong side where we had a guy waiting from a linebacker to blast him. So you can't really go by those numbers when it talks to nose tackle. Justin Houston, this guy has 60 career sacks, but he only played in 5 games last year. Big return you need for Justin Houston. This guy is a superstar linebacker when healthy.
Yeah. How many seasons he play,
6. 60 career sacks. So he averages 10 sacks a year.
Yeah, you're getting double digits a year. You're something special. So
he's the guy that, with that nose tackle taking up 2 guys, he's going in. Eric Crouch used to be a quarterback. He was a Nebraska throw. Yes, Eric Crouch. I remember that name very well, Eric Crouch. He got drafted, I believe, as a cornerback. But I believe, Couch. But no, Tim Crouch and Eric Couch. We're mixing up 2 names. Matt. Eric Couch was a quarterback for the Browns, drafted 1st overall when they were 99 in their expansion year. and complete bust. That was number one in the list of 27 quarterbacks for the Browns since they came, the re-emergence, the new Browns. I'm on the couch. Yes, Stella got the joke. What's happening, Joe? Cosgrove, what's up? Cosgrove's going to be an NFL fan. He's going to like the Raiders and go to a game with you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I say KC takes a step back.
I agree.
So that means the Raiders, I don't know if they take a step up, Dave, as far as record-wise, but I think they win this division.
Oakland?
Oakland. You're an Oakland guy, so you know what? I'm gonna kick it to you for you to start the Raiders because you know more about them than I do, obviously.
Okay, well, we got Derek Carr starting out as a QB, so he's got a 96.7 rating, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Second only to Tom Brady in the entire NFL.
Wow.
3,937 yards, 28 TDs. That dude is the heart and soul without a doubt.
And he missed the game and a half, right? He gets another December 24th, Christmas Eve. I said before we had a Christmas Eve injury. So he gets hurt. So he loses out almost on 2 full games with those numbers.
That was the beginning. Yeah. Then you got Marshawn Lynch coming back. I personally feel like he had a whole solid year off his legs, and he wants to be a Raider. Yeah. He's always wanted to be a Raider. I think he's going to have a tremendous season. Now, his career right now is 2,144 attempts, over 9,000 yards and 74 touchdowns.
How old is he? Do you know offhand? I'm not sure.
I want to say 34, 35. He's maybe even a little younger than that, 32,
but
33.
He's over still, 30, yeah.
NFL-wise, he's old.
Yes, running back.
But I'm also thinking, a year off is going to help him a lot.
Excellent point, yeah. And I don't think he's not the type of guy that's going to have rust either. He's a pro.
Oh, no.
He's not going to have rust with the year off. No, it's not injury year off either.
With passion, man. I can't wait to watch him on TV.
Yeah.
And then you got DeAndre Washington and Jaleel Richard as running backs, but Marshawn Lynch is going to end up being the beast in the whole thing. Then you got your wide receivers. You got Michael Crabtree, Amari Cooper, and Jared Cook, all for tight ends. They're all going to be swallowing these points like it's going out of style because Derek is not afraid to throw that ball.
No.
And he's not a check down specialist. He'll do what he has to do. Against Titans, they're playing the Titans this week. Titans were ranked right up there with the blitzes.
Okay.
And that's where Derek Carr shines because he performs in the blitz situation. So I'm stoked about this season. Oakland's going to take it all the way down. I think they're going to end up with the South Championship title, which they should have had last year if it wasn't for that fucking tiebreaker, man. That killed me.
Yeah.
That killed me.
But once Carr got hurt, when Carr got hurt, and then McGloin got hurt, and then Cook had to start the playoff game. So I mean, it was just bad luck at that point with the Raiders.
And then you got Mack on the defensive side. We're talking 40 sacks in 3 seasons.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well deserved.
That's a stud.
Yeah, that guy is an animal. Obviously, we've spoke about this before. Defensively, the Raiders do have, they're known for their offense. They got a rookie third-rounder defensive tackle, Eddie Vanderoos, and a middle linebacker, Marquis Lee. Most likely, he's a fifth-rounder. They're probably going to start. So they're trying to make changes. They know what they had that didn't work. They know they needed to do something different. Second-year player, Corey James, had 48 tackles last year as a rookie at the weak side linebacker. So that's 3 young guys that they obviously saw a lot in those 2 guys to pick them in 3rd and 5th rounds, very valuable rounds to get picks in. And you can get linebackers a lot in those picks. And then if James can continue with his growth, maybe the Raiders' defense isn't going to be as bad as it was a year ago.
Here's where my journalistic integrity has to kick in, so I have to keep it real.
Okay.
I love them on so much ways, but their pass defense fucking blows. It just, anybody can throw on them right now. And it's I watched every single preseason game, and I was so pissed.
Yeah,
I'm the opposite of you. I know you get quiet during the TV, but I don't. And I was just like, what the hell? These corners were wide open. I'm like, they're just letting balls be thrown to them. It was disgusting.
I watched the preseason game, too. I watched one. I think it was the last, I guess it was week 4. It was a replay.
Wasn't it horrible?
There was but I'm looking at it also. It's the 4th preseason game. There's guys that are, the cut down this year. They did it differently. You went from 90 to 53 after the fourth preseason game, where it used to have cuts, I think, after week 2. And then after week 3, and then you had to get to 53 and then form your practice squad. This year they did it differently because they wanted more bodies there for the games that the fourth game that didn't mean as much.
Yeah.
I think it was a players union kind of thing.
They're even trying to hold up Sebastian Janikowski with money right now.
They need him. He's an automatic. That guy, that was very smart draft pick. People usually get very critical when it comes to kickers and punters being drafted. He was not no Roberto Aguayo, Janikowski. No. He's been there about a decade now. Yeah. He's got a fucking cannon leg. He's a big dude, man. I remember him in college, man. He was fun to watch back in college. And I remember when they said this guy is going to be drafted. That's a good look for an adult. Who, me? Jay Mason, Fruity in the house. I say Raiders. I think they go 12-4 again, but that gives you the crown of the West this year. What do you think, bro?
I'll be happy with that. I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah, I think they're going to do well. Stella, how old were you when Angelina Jolie adopted you? Holy shit. Leave lifting lemons alone, Mason. We love him. He likes the Eagles. He's an Eagles guy. So I think the Raiders have a good year. I think the Chiefs take a step back. Broncos. This one I'm not sure about. They were 9-7 last year. Trevor Siemian wins the job over Paxton Lynch. Not a surprise. Siemian had a good start last year, got his shoulder banged up, and then was struggled when he returned. But was it the shoulder or was it Trevor Siemian is Trevor Siemian? There's a reason why he was, I don't know if he was a 6th-rounder. I forget what he was. So nobody even knew who he was last year, and he ended up winning the job. So then
he didn't have bad either.
No, I mean, he didn't have bad numbers, but I look at him and I don't say like, wow, Simeon's gonna lead them to the playoffs. I think he's the kind of guy that that's why they drafted Lynch. They didn't think they had a young guy that was going to do well. And Simeon
now that Lynch is hurt, they ended up picking up Osweiler.
Very interesting. We said at the beginning we're talking about the Texans. Osweiler comes back, but does he get cut when Paxton Lynch comes back, or do they keep him as a third guy and don't dress him? Very strange situation how he came back to the Broncos. Everybody thought he was the heir apparent to Peyton Manning after Manning won the Super Bowl, but Osweiler, I think he played in 4 games that year, and he looked really sharp. But you got to also remember they had a very solid team around him, defensively especially. So the records were good, but they do have some weapons though. Demaryius Thomas, 1,000 yards, 90 catches, 5 scores. So you got to like him. They bring in Jamal Charles, only played in 3 games last year, the longtime Chief. And C.J. Anderson got hurt last year, too, only played in 7 games. So if they have healthy running backs, Anderson's a fucking workhorse.
Same with Charles, too, both of them.
Charles, but so, I mean, Anderson's the long-time guy there, so he'll get the nod if they're healthy. But they rebuild their line. They sign Ronald Leary from the Cowboys. They tackle Menelik Watson from your boys, the Oakland Raiders, and they draft a left tackle, Garrett Bowles, who won the starting job in camp. So a really different look up front for the Broncos on offense there. So I'd be very interested to see if the line could gel, which usually means the first few weeks they kind of struggle.
Yeah.
So, but I think if the line could gel, you take a lot of pressure off of Simeon to have to really be, a 4 touchdown a game guy. You can get away with throwing the ball to, your tight end. You can have a good running attack, and they have some good receivers also. They also have, what's the other guy, the small guy? Jesus, I heard his name. He was interviewed yesterday on NFL radio. I forget his name now. A smaller guy than Thomas. But what do you think about Denver offensively, Dave?
Offensively, for their firepower, they're okay. Their tight ends don't really stand out to me.
Yeah.
That offensive line is definitely going to have to do their job. Trevor Siemian, a lot of it is based on him because you kind of really don't want Brock Osweiler to be stepping up right now.
No. He was terrible last year with the Texans, and he got beat out by a second-round rookie. in Cleveland. Looking forward to the Giants smash Dallas. I agree, Rock. I think the Giants are going to have a good year. We will be picking those games. Defensively, Von Miller, all-world, 13.5 sacks last year. A very strong secondary as well, all 4 guys with the Broncos. So Denver, obviously, if they're going to fight for a playoff spot, they're going to have to probably do it with their defense, right or wrong?
No, correct.
Yeah, I think that's the type of team that needs to, they probably need to cause a lot of turnovers. And they couldn't do it. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, Justin Simmons, Darian Stewart. They have really good guys that are covering receivers. And so I think Denver, more of this 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 type of season from them. No playoffs. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the next one because that was what I just switched for my pick in the conference too.
Okay, I just think a new head coach. Quarterback situation's not wonderful.
It's the defense that's going to carry that team.
Yeah, and it was in the Super Bowl too. Yeah. But they had a guy named Peyton Manning that made a difference. Then going to then San Diego, now LA, and if you see, Dave, I actually had to correct. I wrote San Diego on my notes, and I had to change it to LA. Yep. I'm not used to that yet.
That's on my football sheet. Did the same exact thing. I was like, it's not San Diego.
I'm writing San Diego Chargers, and I'm reading the preview, and I'm looking at their roster, and I go, L.A. Oh shit! What the fuck am I doing? So last year,
that don't even sound right. Still,
no. Last year 5-11. This year they move to the Home Depot Center. It's where the MLS LA Galaxy play. It's the 30,000 seat arena. I had the pleasure of being in that arena for the CrossFit Games a few years ago when I worked for MD. It's a nice stadium. It ain't a fucking football stadium, bro.
No,
it's not a football. It never can. It's nice for MLS, I guess, or maybe like a minor league lacrosse or something. I don't know. But it's definitely not NFL material. No. So, I think they're gonna play in there for 2 or 3 years because the. What is that new one being called? It's in Inglewood. I forget if there's a name for it yet. But the Rams,
literally 20 minutes away from me.
What, the Home Depot thing or the
No,
Inglewood?
The new stadium being built.
Oh,
like
the Inglewood. Okay, so maybe you'll have to switch to the Rams/Chargers as your team.
I think I would rather get divorced and turn gay than do that. So that's not going to happen.
You can start the Olympia because I'm going to hit you in the ass. No, but will you go to a game there just to take in the new stadium? I mean
absolutely, because I guarantee you Oakland's going to be there a lot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So when they play the game against the Chargers,
home game, that's going to be a blackout.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. You can go see after they move to Vegas. I forgot because it's divisional. But even if when they play the Rams division every third year, every sixth year you'll get a game there because they flip flop home and away. Phillip Rivers, man, this guy for a shit team last year, almost 4,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, but 21 interceptions though. Rivers still can get the job done. I like Phillip Rivers a lot. I always have. That was a great draft with Manning, Rivers, and Big Ben. I mean, it was just a quarterback fucking filled with great quarterbacks, and Rivers never disappointed in San Diego, now L.A. They didn't do very well in the postseason, but I'm not going to fault Phillip Rivers for that. What do you think about? You see him a lot. What do you think about him?
I think he's a crybaby, but we have to keep this non-personal. So. Don't forget, the Chargers are probably my most despised team.
Yes, of course.
It's just, but given journalistic integrity, Rivers is great. He's a great quarterback. I can't hate on the guy. You like that, know? He's got a wonderful supporting cast. That's why I ended up changing my division standings as we were speaking. Because I started thinking in my head about the Chargers. I'm like, this supporting cast is amazing. Look who they got going for him. Melvin Gordon, Brandon Oliver, Keenan Allen, Travis Benjamin, Tyrell Williams. You got Mike Williams that just got drafted off the board, 7th pick, first round. That guy had 98 receptions, almost 1,400 yards, and 11 touchdowns in his last seasons at Clemson. He's not a joke, man. He has a great offensive team.
But you forgot the most important thing. Mike Williams has disc issues and he's out. Now this is bad luck. Hopefully, you never know. We could bring him back. Very bad luck.
You got Gates too. You got Antonio Gates and Hunter Henry.
Yeah. No, they have good offensive.
Yeah.
New line. They redid their line. They got rid of DJ Fluker. Great name. The Giants picked them up. They did some things with them. But Mike Williams, now this fucking team has no luck. They drafted a guy last year, Keenan Allen, right? He tore his ACL in the 16 season opener last year. So he's supposed to come back. They pick Mike Williams, gets his back hurt in training camp. He's out. Their second rounder, regard, Forrest Lamp, blows out his knees, out for the season. That's just, you can't blame a team for that. You got to just say, fuck, man, when is it going to bounce our way, this fucking ball?
Yeah.
So, tough thing. But you mentioned some names before. Tyrell Williams, great fucking season last year. Gates, another great season. So they have a lot of good weapons. If the rebuilt line can do its job, Rivers will have time. He has a lot of targets to throw to. And defensively, they got some good guys defensively. You mentioned Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, and Jason Verrett. So they have guys. I mean, Bosa had 10.5 sacks in his rookie year, and he held out, I think the first camp and then the first 3 games in the preseason. He only played 1 quarter or something. There is something you already have, a foot workout. I don't know what that means. But I think the Chargers, I think they're going to be okay this year. They're not going to be 5-11. I think they'll be better than that this year. But those injuries, sooner or later, you lose a lot of guys like that, and you always know you're going to lose guys during the season. I think the Chargers are more of a 6 to 7 win team. I think the injuries are going to catch up to them, and by the end of the year, playing in that small place with not a lot of because they're not interested in them over there. They don't even they're not even into the Rams, the fans over there. LA sucks. They're terrible football fans. That's why they lost 2 teams before. You know what I mean?
You know what? I am so glad. I'll stick by it. I'm glad Oakland did not come to LA. I'm glad. I'm glad they're in Vegas and they're reestablishing somewhere totally different. So what do you got for your 1, 2, 3, 4?
I have Oakland, KC, Denver, LA. I think Denver and LA could be pretty close as far as records go, but I think when it's all said and done, the injuries are going to hurt them more. So what do you got there?
That's what I just switched right now.
What did you pick?
Oakland, Kansas City, the Chargers, and Denver.
Okay, so you have LA leapfrogging Denver. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I just think Denver's got some more veterans. I think the defense is good. But the Chargers, because Phillips is going to be, Rivers is going to be old by the time these other guys come around and start to gel and stuff. But I think in a perfect scenario, if they didn't have injuries and stuff, I would put them ahead of Denver. But I still think it's a tough division. They're gonna 6 games against these opponents are gonna hurt the Chargers more than help them.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how this one goes.
We'll see. We got 8 minutes to go. I think
this gives us just enough time to get our picks in.
Week 1, baby. Here we go. The season starts tomorrow night. Thursday night football season opener. New England, the world champion New England Patriots, hosting the team we just spoke about, the Chiefs, Dave. The Chiefs, who they have some question marks going in, maybe a quarterback looking over his shoulder. The last thing you want to do is open the season at New England.
Yeah.
I got New England all the way. New England all the way.
Yeah, no brainer.
New England. All right. I'm gonna write these down. So
yeah, I got mine circled.
Okay, you got yours circled. I'm gonna put a check next to your team because mine are circled. Then we go to Sunday, a full boat Sunday. New York Jets, my team, at Buffalo. I got the Bills.
Really?
I said they're going to win one game.
We were talking about the preseason. You said the Jets will beat the Bills and the Bills will come back and beat them later in.
I said the Jets were going to win the home game against the Bills, but this one's the one I still call it Rich Stadium.
Okay, I got Buffalo too.
You got Buffalo too. Okay. Philly, Stellar's favorite team, at the Skins, divisional. Well, the Jets is a division one too, but a more important divisional because Jets and Buffalo. Who gives a fuck? Philly at Washington. I picked the Redskins.
I picked Philly.
Oh, okay, good. See, I want us to have off picks. Oakland at Tennessee. Now, we just gave Tennessee great praise. They're at home. Oakland, Carr is back. They got weapons, but the defense is still a big question mark, Dave. I'm sorry. I got to do it to you. I got the Titans.
That feel free, man. I never bet again. So I'm telling you, you got 17 weeks of Oakland coming at you.
Okay, all right. You're gonna have 16. The Jets are not going to be my picks here at all. Jacksonville at Houston. I got the fucking Texans. I'm not even thinking about that. I think Jacksonville is going to have a. Well, we just spoke about them, so. This one I was a little tossed. This was the last one I picked. I skipped it and went back to it. Arizona at Detroit. I like Arizona, but I got to go with the home squad here. I picked the Lions.
You know, I did the exact same thing. My wife's got Arizona. I got Detroit.
Okay, so you have Detroit. This one I've been speaking about since they gave Kaiser the job. I said his head's going to be spinning. Steelers at Brownies. I got the Steelers without even thinking about it.
Yep, same Pittsburgh.
Okay. Atlanta, defending conference champions at the rebuilding Bears. I'm going with the Birds.
Yeah, all day. All day
long. The Ravens, who I said last week, and you kind of agree with me, I think they're going to have a long campaign. At Cincinnati, since he's good at the jungle, I got the Bengals.
I got the Bengals too.
All right. The aforementioned Scott Tolzier-led Indianapolis Colts at your LA Rams. I am going with the Rams.
I went with the Rams too.
Whoa.
So far, was there only one different one?
Yeah, the Philly game.
All right, keep going.
No, listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. We got, we didn't talk about this before.
No.
So, Carolina at the brand new rebuilding 49ers. I am going with the Cats.
Carolina. Yep, Carolina.
This is the game of the week. Well, one of the big games of the week. And I believe it's Channel 5, the Fox 4 o'clock, my 4 o'clock, your 1 o'clock. I believe this is the national game. Seattle at Green Bay. I am picking Seattle because I said they're going to beat the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game, and this game will decide home field advantage.
And I am going with Green Bay.
Great. I love it. This is why it's fun, bro. The Giants, the Sunday night affair, every season they open the season against the Cowboys. They're in Jerry's fucking world. Ezekiel Elliott will play, even though he has to serve his suspension, but he's going to probably keep appealing, so it may be a Brady matter or to push it off.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott's in there. Everything's pointing to Dallas win, right? Guess what? I got the fucking G-Men.
I went with the Giants too, man.
I like the Giants in the division.
Here's a little fun fact that I don't think I've ever told you. Giants is my number 2 team.
Okay, me too. Believe it or
Giants is my number 2 team.
There's no rivalry with football like the Mets and Yankees over here in New York. I love the Giants. I enjoy watching them sometimes more than the Jets because they win. Monday night.
My wife's a Dallas fan. I don't think she picked. I know she went with Dallas. We always disagree with this.
Yeah, one. Well, that's going to be. Every year it's a close game. So that one, it's one of those games. Don't go to bed early because it's going to come down to the last drive. Doubleheader opening Monday night. I fucking love doubleheaders on Monday Night Football. Sucks for you because the first game starts like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon your time. New Orleans at the Purple People Eaters. Minnesota Vikings. Another one I was like, the New Orleans. If it was the other way around, New Orleans was home, I would have picked them, but I picked the Vikings. What do you got?
Okay, I picked New Orleans.
All right. Davey's got New Orleans. And here is a wild, wild West matchup, but the shittiest one of all, because it's the two teams that we both think are going to finish at the bottom of the division. LA Chargers at Denver. I got Mile High Stadium, Denver opening game. The Chargers, I'm going Denver.
you know, even after me just talking good about the Chargers, I still went with Denver.
Well, you know what?
Only because it's at home.
They'll split, but I think they'll split at home.
Yeah.
And Ink Cherry has checked in the feed, and she said, yes, Dallas.
Yes, Dallas. I don't know if she hears me in the other room talking about her team, but she's going to be on top of me. She's going to be like, what? Who'd you pick? I'm not cooking for you tonight.
At least you watch football. My wife does not understand anything about football. She'll watch baseball with me. She likes the Mets. And
are you serious?
Will not watch football, doesn't understand it, doesn't want to understand it. I try to explain it to her. She doesn't want to get it. So,
bro,
I said, I don't care if you watch their asses. Just watch the game with me. I don't care. You know?
I told you, we've been together for 10 years, have never had an argument. My wife watches wrestling with me, UFC with me. She has a fantasy football team with me in the same league. We go back to back. She watches football. Dude, she's a fucking dude, but a beautiful dude. In a good way.
She's a guy without a cock.
Dude, this is why we don't argue.
Sorry, Maria.
We don't argue. She's awesome.
She says, love watching football. Well, my wife, you haven't had a fight with your wife in 10 years? I don't go 10 minutes without fighting.
I put it on everything. I put it on everything. We have never once had an argument about anything.
Wow. I give you, both of you guys, kudos, because that is very difficult. Me and Gil, we fight all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But as long as you make up, that's the main thing. But if you don't fight, you don't have to worry.
I tell her all the time. I'm like, we have to get in an argument because I want to know what makeup sex is like.
Yeah.
But it's not like I have no idea. We don't argue.
Usually they hold a grudge even when they have makeup sex. It's not as good as people make it out to be. I can tell you that from experience. When you're not fighting and you're drunk, sex is better. All right, so week 1. We have everything the same except for the Philly-Washington, New Orleans-Minnesota, and the best one of all, Seattle and Green Bay. So that's going to be the telltale games between you and I in Week 1 selection, picking the games. Wow. And just like that, it's 4:01, Davey.
Yeah, and it's done.
That's it. That's the show. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. During the season, it'll be a lot easier for us to interact more. It was a little tough with the previews because we was more stats driven. We're going to do some recaps of games during the week. We might just blow through the whole 16 of them, well, the 15 this week because of the Miami game, Miami and Tampa. Will be played in week 11. But what's kind of strange is that, so they really won't have a bye week because they're going to go through the whole season, 16 straight weeks we're playing. So that's a little bit of a tough break for those two teams. It would have almost been better if we just lost the feed with an hour finished. It would almost been better if they did a neutral site like the Jets and Bills did with the snowstorm in Buffalo when they played in the Lions stadium.
They couldn't get to another stadium? Is that the reason?
I don't know. You know what? Maybe they didn't want to lose a gate. The Dolphins, maybe, I don't know. I guess they would have got the gate anyway because with the Bills must have got the gate when the Jets when they played in Detroit that Monday night, and the Jets lost, of course. But that's gonna do it, bro. So it's gonna be fun tonight, tomorrow night. I mean, enjoy the game.
Yes, you too.
Thank you. And in 1 week, we'll see how these picks went.
Yes, and then the next day we'll be in Vegas.
That's right. We're going to. I'm still looking at the Instagram camera. That's right. We're going to Vegas, and we will have to. And I was mixing myself up. I was thinking it was week 1, and then the next week we're going to Vegas. It's week 2, but we will somehow try. I don't know what the Thursday night game is, but whatever it is, we'll try to pop in somewhere. And maybe the Alligator Bar will have it on somewhere.
That's good. I'll stay and watch football all damn day.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of pops and make some videos and do some live stream stuff with the MSM crew, and maybe we'll even be sporting the pink shirts and the panties by then. Maybe we'll be changing that first day, but that is going to do it for us on this edition of NFL Coast to Coast, co-hosted by myself, Joe Pietaro, and of course, Mr. Dave Comerica Muscle Goys over there on the left coast. Dave, great job again as always. I had a ball. I can talk about football for the rest of my dying days.
I could see that passion, man.
It's little there. Kid. It's a little kid in me.
A little kid.
Little kid in me. That's going to do it for us this week. Guys, we will see you on the next episode 1 week from today.
We out.